Back to the States. And in the rush to complete construction, some blue-collar workers building the plant now claim they're getting the squeeze with pay cuts. Political editor Dennis Welch explains.
It was revealed earlier this year that the chip manufacturer was bringing in more workers from their home country of Taiwan to speed up construction. Now, the company TSMC didn't say how many workers they were bringing here to complete this project they hope to finish at the start of next year. At the time, we were told that the additional workers would not impact the thousands of construction workers already building the $40 billion factory. In recent days, multiple sources have come forward to Arizona's family telling us they feel the new workers are here to replace them or as an excuse to cut their pay. Those sources not willing to go on camera for fear of retribution. Earlier today, we reached out for comment to TSMC and to a general contractor on the project. So far, neither have responded to our questions.
Talented workforce.
This morning on Good Morning Arizona, we asked Senator Kelly about the situation, his response focusing more on the high-paying jobs of the future when the factory is up and running.
I've spoken to the U.S. CEO of TSMC specifically about the jobs and that it's important that these jobs are for Arizonans. They are bringing in a small group of individuals, to do some training, and that might be what you're referring to. And there was some press about that.
In the meantime, construction continues on the site near the I-17 and Loop 303 freeways in North Phoenix. And we will continue to monitor this story and press for more answers. In the newsroom, Dennis Welch, Arizona's Family.